75 and sunny, and yet I walked into Rico and Evan and David all being in a bad mood, all bummed out about Trajan Langdon. We're going to talk about it. We're also going to test their level of religious knowledge later with a papal conclave blitz. It's going to be exciting. Kenny's going to be dressed as a cardinal. We're really going to get into it. And I do have a hypothetical for you at 3 o'clock, and it is about college football. And I'll explain it, and I'm basically going to roll a hand grenade into the bedroom and shut the door behind me, and whatever happens, happens. But we want to start with this. You and Evan and David are all like-minded. You're all bummed out. Trajan Langdon spoke, and while the audio's terrible, we can't play it. It's, guys, it would be a waste of your time as a listener. But I'll outline some of the things that are in here, but I want you to really kind of take the lead on this because you're convinced of something, and maybe I don't want to be convinced, so I'm, denying reality. But basically, he said the following: if you're going to bring an all-star in, it's going to come through trade, not free agency. TBD on Ivy and Duren extensions. No idea who the second leading scorer would be next year. He thinks that's a good thing. Didn't mention Ivy at first. Kind of made you guys question Ivy's role. But it's led you to the following. You believe Trajan's plan, or at least from what he said today, is WBBT.
Yep.
Bring the band back together.
Yep, Mike, just like every NBA player, when any call happens, does this. Review it. We're going to run this back. They're going to run back this team. He came out there and he was just talking. He didn't say specifically that he was, but it was the things that I was hearing what he wasn't saying. And it was, you know what? For this offseason, Oscar Thompson won't have blood clots, so he'll actually get to work out with the team. And Ron Holland, he's going to come back with the team and practice this summer. And whether it's going to be in some of those summer league games or what, but he's going to be working with the team. Cade Cunningham now knows what it feels like to train. And because he's experienced the playoffs, he knows what it takes to win. So now he's not going to be out there training to perform well in game number 45, but he's trying to go to the second round and beyond. He just talked as if he just kept naming off all the key pieces to the team and how over the summer it's going to get better, which led me to thinking he's just going to keep this thing together. And I think he's open to a trade if a trade is there, but I don't think that he's going to be demanding a trade. If somebody calls and offers him a deal and he says, okay, if the Pelicans say, hey, Zion, we want to try to move him, what can we do? I think he would join in that conversation. But I think that call comes from New Orleans. I don't think that call comes from Detroit. I think he's happy with what he has here, and he thinks that if we just get another summer together with the same players, we could get better results. He complimented the fans during the playoffs, and I think he's going to try to bring that team back. And by bringing that team back, I also think, because he talked about, I brought in some free agents, and things kind of changed while they were here, which I felt like he started to fall in love with those guys. So, David, I could be wrong, but to me, sounded like, as you like to call it, was it WBBT? So I think that's going to happen. I think the Detroit Pistons will keep it together, and they're going to run this thing back next year.
So they're every team in this town.
You're going to see minor changes, maybe a couple of fringe players like they did.
Yeah, no one cares. So that's
wow.
It's Rico. No one cares. Like, you could sign a zillion Fontecchios. See yourself out. So basically, we're WBBT City. Lions refuse to make the big move. Wings refuse to make the big move. Tigers tried.
I was about to say,
didn't
Detroit
execute
tried,
it. Tigers tried.
And they were willing to even overpay.
And the Pistons, according to you, Evan and David, are convinced, hey, Ron Holland will get a full summer to work out, a sore, no blood clots. We're just going to keep the band together. David, do you agree with the way Rico explained that?
I don't agree.
You read something different into it?
Here's what I read into it. It's too early to know. That's what I read into it. We just finished the playoffs. I absolutely understand he had to speak. Yes, the season's over. Every GM should speak when the season is over. But I just didn't take anything from it. It's just too early to know anything on decision-wise, if they're going to trade for someone, if they're going to keep the young guys. I just don't think I learned anything today.
You know what? The only one I did not know about was Jaden Ivey. And Jaden Ivey, he said by his own admission, he was like, yeah, you know what? I left him out, and, I left out a few other people. But he talked about all the other players, but Ivey was omitted. Ivey's the only one I don't know, David, because I don't know if Ivey's going to be a key part of this team or Ivey's going to be the chess move, the piece that they're going to try to bring in somebody else. He's the only one. He's like, hey, J.I.'s down working out right now. But other than that, what I gathered, they're going to run this back. And they think that they have something here. And I wouldn't expect no free agent move. If there's going to be a big move, it's going to come through a trade. He's like, hey, I don't know who the second scorer is going to be next year. And yeah, it's a good thing. Like, okay, wait a minute. What? Don't you want to know who? I mean, we all keep saying you need somebody to help out Cade, and you want to get somebody who you definitely know, yes, this person plus Cade equals a winning team, not, hey, man, it's going to be fun to figure out who's going to be the second leading scorer next year on this team.
Is there a question in here, or is this just like we're just going to keep it rolling? God, I want to know why this is this way. That's what I want. Why is this town this way? WBBT. Why? Why? That's what I'm more interested in. I'm not interested in going through the pablum of GM quotes. Why are we this way? Answer it. Someone. I don't care if you're on the road. I don't care if you're sitting in studio or behind the glass. I don't care if you're up on a roof. Why? Why will no team in this town take the swing?
Because you don't want the risk. You don't want to take the big risks, because if you take that risk
but
and
why?
it fails.
Oh, this is the hardest town in America, isn't it?
It's not. It's not, because this town, they value something rather than everything. And if you have something, I don't want to give up something and risk that I can get it all. I'd rather just be safe with the something.
No, you put your ass in the jackpot is what you do if you make the big move, because if it doesn't work out, then you look like an idiot. You don't want to do that. You don't want to put your job at risk. You don't want to put your reputation at risk based on making a big swing. I disagree with that line of thinking, because I think that's not how champions are made. Champions are made by doing those types of
Okay,
things.
but Kenny, here's the thing. Here's what you haven't – there hasn't been a champion here in a long time. So –
because we behave like that. That's why there hasn't been a champion in a while.
Because this town, once you rather have something than be irrelevant. Because every team that we've talked about at some point has been a joke. And once you start winning, you don't want to go back to that. So I'd rather play it safe and at least be relevant.
Can you
I'm not agreeing with this, Mike, before you say anything. Let me just cut you off right now because you're a little spicy. No, I'm not agreeing with that, but you wanted to know why this town is that way.
Well, then that's pathetic, and you never deserve to win a championship. I hope none of you win a thing then, because I can't name a single person who's been uber successful in business who had that mindset. Not one. I think it's absurd. All of this is absurd. If they want to, we're going to let it marinate. Why?
In business and in life, you have to take that swing.
Right.
No matter what you do in life, you have to make a big swing and bet on yourself.
Look at all of it. The Wings are in desperate need of a big swing. Now, I'd argue the Pistons, there's a power shift in the East. You and I have been talking about it all year. The East is in a complete transitionary period. Why not put your stamp on it? Make the Detroit Pistons the team of the next 5 years.
Yeah, right now there's 3 teams in the East. I think Cleveland, Orlando, and Indiana.
The Tigers' shot will come at the deadline. Because truthfully, they have to be a buyer. If this is who they are, you have to be the team to go out and make that type of move.
And the funny thing is, the irony to all of this is when the Wings were willing to go out there and do big things, they won cups. When the Pistons went out there and took a chance on Rasheed Wallace, it helped them get over the top to win a title. So, yes, that's how it's done, but they're scared. There's really no other way to put it. If I make this move and this move fails,
well, look at the Lions too.
I'm going to be attached to this. So, I'd rather be relevant than be great.
I don't think they're scared. I think this town doesn't demand it. So when they don't demand it, there's no reason for the GM to strain themselves and go after big moves, because the fan base isn't going to say anything to them. They're just going to sit there and be like, oh, great. Lions won 15 games. Pistons made the playoffs. Tigers made the playoffs.
But David, there's only so much the fans can do. I mean, the only time I really saw the fans have an effect is when the Lions went 0-16 and they just said, enough of this. You got to get rid of this clown.
Yeah, but it's cultural. Like, I agree with you in the actuality. You're right, Rico. They don't get to walk into the office and press a big red button, the trade button. But what David is speaking of is there's a reason Philadelphia is Philadelphia or Boston or Chicago or New York. Those towns are a certain way. So you're right. Fans don't have the actuality. But one thing's been proven. These teams do listen. I'm not going to get into specifics of how that's true. You just need to trust me. These teams listen. So the idea of fans voicing displeasure, you're right. But what does this town do? They fall in love with gym class heroes. Think about it.
No, they don't.
They fall in love with their own. And then anytime we try to bring up a trade, that dude's not good enough. What do you mean?
I like to call it the Brandon Inge factor.
Exactly. Like, I mean, we were talking about trade candidates for the Pistons, and everyone, that guy's not good. That guy's, fine. I'm going to get you Larry Bird in his prime. Is that what you want? Let me get you Larry Bird, 1984. That's what I'm going to deliver to you. So I want to ask you guys the question, because I think all four teams are in the same spot. Different points of rebuild or their arc. Would anyone have said it was a bad idea for the Lions to make a big move this offseason? No, they chose not to. We'll see if they're right. The Tigers, they tried, didn't execute it. Wings, please. I mean, we're all dying for the Wings to do something, and they need to. There needs to be a jump start. For the Pistons, I think there's a lot of oxygen available in the Eastern Conference if they want to reach out and grab it. Reach out, breathe it in. But you got to make a move. Mm-hmm. No, I don't think a summer of Asur is going to turn him into a 38% three-point shooter.
No.
So I want to hear from you guys. Because my fascination is with Trajan's comments, as Rico eloquently pointed out, it doesn't sound like. Now, again, is he going to pull his pants down at the podium and show you the world map? No, he's got to leave some fog of war. But I'm asking you guys, why are we this way in this town? Where seemingly these teams are reticent at best to make a bold move. 248-539-9797.